it's funny when he says, we need to make the company financially solvent. It's like, well, you're financially solvent, Tim, so I guess there's that. One little bit of news, and no, it is not actually about Unity. We're going to leave that to the experts.
Fires?
Yes, to the fires, yes.
Leave it to the fires of hell.
Leave it to the dumpster fire of hell.
Perfect.
There's actually a story that came out very recently, and it's about Epic Games. So, Epic Games has reportedly laid off 830 jobs, 16% of their total workforce.
That's not insignificant.
No, it is definitely not. I am looking specifically at the Eurogamer article right now, but believe me, this was done by every outlet known to mankind. I went on to look for news on one day, and every headline across every single platform was about this. And I have looked at some other articles that took a different angle, but I think that this is kind of useful. The article is basically that they have confirmed reports of widespread layoffs at the company, saying the move will affect around 830 employees. Approximately 2/3 of those job cuts said to be in teams outside of core development.
So they're focusing on their core, which is the Epic Games engine?
I'm guessing in actual, like, software development or in technological development. Probably not the Fortnite crew. I'm going to guess that's not where the cuts
They're
are
not
coming.
the core?
I don't think so.
Yeah, I feel like they definitely would keep the Fortnite crew on.
Yeah.
You know, that's a no-brainer.
They make billions off of that game.
Billions.
But at any rate, Eurogamer also says around 250 employees will leave the company as a result of Epic's newly announced divestiture of Bandcamp and Super Awesome. So
they own Bandcamp?
Apparently, or at least they were invested in it, but they are now divesting from it.
What's the other one?
Super Awesome.
Don't even know what that is.
Yeah, and you know what? Don't need to get into it now. For a while now, Epic CEO Tim Sweeney wrote in an all-staff email. Now, we'll come back to Tim in a minute. We've been spending way more money than we earn, investing in the next evolution of Epic and growing Fortnite as a metaverse-inspired ecosystem for creators.
No. Absolutely not.
I had long been optimistic that we could power through this transition without layoffs, but in retrospect, I see that it was unrealistic. While Fortnite...
Yeah, well, you know who else has walked back their metaverse dreams?
Yeah. Everyone?
Everybody.
Yeah,
especially Facebook.
Yeah. Who literally
Meta.
changed their name to Meta. Sweeney continues, while Fortnite is starting to grow again, my god, the growth is driven primarily by creator content with significant revenue sharing, and this is a lower margin business than we had when Fortnite Battle Royale took off and began funding our expansion. Success with the creator ecosystem is a great achievement, but it means a major structural change to our economics.
So yeah. It's growing because of influencers playing it?
Apparently. Well, I mean, that kind of makes sense. So, like, Ninja and all of that came in, but...
So it's just your streamers and stuff, and your content creators who are just playing Fortnite because it's Fortnite? So when the streamers decide to get bored and they don't get as many views from it, so that Fortnite will just die.
Yeah, I mean, Epic will probably make their bag by then. I mean, like, they should be fine, but...
Yeah.
I think it's also their brand deals. Every week you'll see that Fortnite is doing something special with, like, Star Wars or, whatever it be. Sweeney added that the company has been making ongoing efforts to reduce costs globally, including moving to net zero hiring and cutting operating spent on things like marketing and events. But it remains far short of financial sustainability. And Sweeney insists that doing layoffs now and on the scale will stabilize our finances. Keep that in mind. Now, to be fair and balancer, I will say that the affected workers are apparently going to be receiving 6 months of base pay as part of their severance package, along with the Epic paid healthcare in United States, Canada, and Brazil. So at least there's that. And they are also offering to accelerate people's stock option vesting schedule through the end of 2024, and giving 2 additional years from today to exercise the options. 401ks, all of that good stuff. So they're not exactly...
All that good stuff.
Yeah, they're not exactly out on the street. They will have some financial stability for a little bit while they look for other work. They mention, toward the end, that in light of today's job cuts, Epic says it will prioritize work on the next Fortnite season and Fortnite Chapter 5, as well as Delmar, Sparks, and Juno. Now, if you're wondering...
Which I assume are just project names.
Yes, Delmar and Juno rumored to be codenames for a Fortnite car racing mode.
Nobody's gonna... Okay.
And Fortnite Lego collaboration, respectively. So...
I hope Fortnite just crashes and burns. That's what the car racing mode will let you do.
Yeah.
Can I build ramps on the fly?
That would be... Okay, that might actually be good. That might be good.
Because, you give me a Fortnite car racing mode where I can build...
While you're racing?
While I'm racing.
Yeah.
And,
okay.
That
could be good.
Interesting.
Yeah.
But,
ideal?
No, but...
No. It would have to be, like, a slower car racing game. It couldn't be, like, Need for Speed. Or Burnout or something, because I can't build while I'm racing that fast. It's just not gonna... 2 parts of my brain... the engineering part of my brain and the focusing, hand-eye coordination part of my brain trying to work at the same time.
You just crash into the wall you just put up.
Financial stabilization seems to be the reason why they're doing this and laying off nearly 900 people. So I did some quick maths.
This is the best math.
Okay, how much is Epic Games actually worth? And so gross revenue generated by Epic Games worldwide. Last year, about $6 billion is what they generated for the company. Okay.
So that's generated, not profit, generated, right?
That's generated. That's gross revenue. So there is that. But now that is...
I want to preface this right here with we are not economists.
We are not
or accountants.
We are not, so I don't know exactly how much overhead they have. But this is a question that I do find to be very interesting. That they had approximately $6.27 billion in gross revenue, which was up from $5.1 billion in 2020. So, that's not bad. That seems pretty good. But I also want to mention Tim Sweeney, who is, I think, the second biggest actual investor in the company after, like, Tencent, has, according to Forbes, who do a lot of business, has real-time net worth of $4.1 billion.
Oh.
So, there's that. Now, here's the reason why I thought the quick maths was interesting. I pulled up a calculator, okay?
As one does.
As one does, okay? And I tried to figure out, okay, let's just take a number that I think would be a perfectly good number if they were paying their employees well, of like $100,000 a year. Okay, that would be a good number to take.
That's a really good number. That's probably more generous than the actual number.
Well, to be honest with you, Alex, I think that you are right. I am probably a little bit over that, because when I looked up average salaries of Epic employees, it's around $74,000 a year on average.
Yeah.
But you know what? I'm gonna give benefit of the doubt. Maybe it's more higher, paid employees that they're...
Let's say you're counting in their benefits.
Right, exactly. And I figure nice round number, 100 grand. Let's put that out there. So, if I do my salaries with my little calculator, the number of employees that they lay off accounts for $83 million.
Okay, so revenue. That's still that's an order of magnitude less than $1 billion.
Correct. And since the company's making that much, off of Fortnite. When I figure that Fortnite accounts for a couple billion, we'll even be generous, maybe it's only $1 billion. Even if it's making that in profit, that staffs a lot of people for that. Now, it's 16%.
In fact, 100 times the amount that they fired.
There you go. So, interestingly enough, though, just in case anyone cares, since that is 16% of the staff, what they would pay for the entire staff, if we're going by that number, is about $500 million. Like $518 million for the whole staffing. Like half $500 million for all staffing if we account for even the people that have been fired now. And again, the company has gross revenue of about $6 billion. Now we've worked for companies before, and I know that there is overhead to consider, and there's inherent costs, and there's marketing and all of that, which it sounds like they are also reducing. But again, I really want to make this clear. Tim Sweeney is worth $4.1 billion by himself. So, I don't know. It's funny when he says, we need to make the company financially solvent. It's like, well, you're financially solvent, Tim, so I guess there's that. The company
seems
interesting
fine. To me.
Yeah.
When they go, we need to reduce our workforce to make more money, and it's like, could you just, hey, you make how much money? Could you just maybe take a pay cut? Maybe just a little bit, like 1 or 2%, dude.
Like 83 million would get you there, so we didn't have to lay. In that Forbes article, though, where they have his profile, though, couple interesting bullet points. Epic raised $2 billion in April 22 from the Lego family office and Sony in a funding round that valued the company at $31.5 billion.
Oh. So that's how much the company is worth.
That's how much the company is worth.
So if Microsoft wanted to buy Epic,
right,
they would have to be like, here's $40 billion.
Right. Right. Also important to note is that Epic Games is also the creator of the Unreal Engine, which, great engine, most people would tell you, one of the most used game development toolkits for other studios. And I would say, since this does kind of loop back on Unity a little bit, I have a feeling that the Unreal Engine is going to be more profitable now than it was.
Probably.
Than it was before, since people are probably going to be switching over to it. And hopefully just a few hit games might actually end up giving them more revenue. I imagine, though, that the people that are getting laid off are probably not in the Unreal Engine dev team.
Oh, probably not. That would make bad business sense to do.
They also do mention Fortnite in this profile, one of the world's most popular games, with over 400 million players. Now, it's a free game.
If you want to be fair, we've talked about Roblox before.
Yes.
So
yeah, exactly. That's a hellscape in itself. But 400 million players, and I understand it's a free game. There are players that will spend not one dime on that game, but if just 1% of them buy a battle pass on a regular basis, that's a lot of recurring revenue right there. So just something to consider. I'm, as we said, we're not economists. I'm not an economist. I don't know I have not seen their books. But what I am seeing from my outsider perspective is that it seems like there's a lot of wealth there, both in the company valuation and in the CEOs that are running the place. And if we're looking at how much it would cost them per year to actually have that staffing, it seems minute by comparison to what they're
100%.
earning. I just, did we really think for a company that is apparently $31.5 billion for valuation is going to be made or broken by $83 million, give or take?
Who knows? Maybe they're all part of the marketing team that they're trying to skimp down on the marketing for.
Yeah, maybe. 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 I mean, that does seem to be like when they did Crystal Dynamics, the marketing team was what they were laying off when we were talking about that last week for Embracer Group. This is obviously a lot larger, but...
Hot take here, I feel like a marketing team, as important as marketing is, yes, it's probably easier for a game company and studio and stuff like that to lay off in this day and age than previously, because it feel like it's a lot easier to go, hey, we're going to have a couple people that are working on the marketing, but then we're just going to get this in the hands of streamers.
Yeah. Yeah, and the streamers, you don't have to independently pay. The streamers make money off of their streams. You know, Ninja is not an employee of Epic last time I checked. Maybe that's changed. I know that they have...
I have no idea.
I know that they have a working relationship of sorts because he's played it so much, but you're probably right. Like in this day and age, streamers do a really good job of promoting games, whether game companies understand it or not, by actually engaging with people. And realistically, if it's a social media engagement thing, your social media team probably doesn't need to be as large as a traditional marketing team either.
Yeah. But, I was going to say, too, if it's a new and upcoming game, you don't always have to pay people either. They're looking for games to stream.
Yeah.
And yes, if you're doing a sponsored thing, pay your people. And if you want them to do it, you should give them incentive to do it and pay them, obviously, as well. But there are definitely streamers out there who will go, oh, I got a free key to the game, I'm going to play it.
Sure. Yeah. And realistically, just from a marketing standpoint, you're probably going to get far better engagement if you talk to those streamers and then say, here's 10 free keys to the game that you can give away during a stream, because that costs you, what, 10 keys at a full price game, $600, $700 or something, but you have thousands of people, potentially, that are going to be tuning in to talk about it, so not really that bad a deal.
Or even go, hey, here's $10,000, stream my game for like 3 days.
That's true. That's true.
I don't know how much streamers get paid to do stuff, obviously. So, but it's like, yeah, I feel like $10,000 as a example case. Again, I do not know how much people get paid for it, and I don't really care. So,
right.
But it's like that is far cheaper than paying your $83 million. You know, for example, for a marketing team.
Right. And yeah, that's a changing landscape issue, I'm sure, of things that traditional media did in one way once upon a time. Another example of that, too, briefly, is just that that E3 isn't really as much of a thing anymore. The traditional booths and the trade shows that we had before are now becoming digital showcases that they can do in-house, and that makes more financial sense than setting up a booth and paying for it. I mean, the landscape's changing. I just feel like maybe it didn't need to change with the removal of like 16% of your workforce.
Yeah.
It doesn't seem like Epic is failing anytime soon. It feels like they're doing fine. And
I thought you were gonna say feels like they're doing epic.
According to the Statista estimates, though, they are projected to make $6.5 billion this year, and in 24 looking at over $7 billion in revenue projected.
Oh,
so
okay.
You know, that, I don't know.
It's pocket money.
Again, not an economist, but seems like a drop in the bucket for the cost of the staff. If anyone is an economist out there or is in Epic and knows more about the like behind the scenes stuff that they can share, please enlighten me. I'd be fascinated to know where like the billions of revenue have to go, and like, do you have an electric bill that high? I don't know. I freaking don't know.
So if you're a member of the audience that works for Epic, or a member of the audience that, you know, is an economist or financial person who actually knows anything about this, with our definite reach of those people, drop a comment. You know, tell us we're stupid and they spend $4.2 billion on their CEO, and the other $2 billion are to cover the costs of everything else.
Who knows? I mean, yeah, I'll grant you that's his overall wealth now, and he probably didn't make that in 1 year, but if you have $4-something billion, even if you were making $100 million a year, it's 40 years before you get to $4 billion. So,
yeah.
And I think Tim Sweeney is how old? Tim Sweeney's 52. So on average, the time that he spent at Epic, he's been making more than 100 million a year on average. So anyway, thanks for joining us for our TED Talk.
Yeah.